Hey everyone, today I want to review this adorable little set from Schmincke that I picked up on Amazon Germany. I know Schmincke is not so widely available in the US, where most of my viewers, according to YouTube statistics, are from. But if you are in Europe, and definitely if you're visiting in Europe, you'll probably see Schmincke in most art stores. At least where I am, I'm in the near a small city in Austria, and there's Schmincke in both art stores that we have in town, like the whole range. So they are very available. They are readily available in Europe, and now you can find them online. The thing is with Schmincke, I talked about in a recent video that I won't be purchasing kind of ready-made watercolor sets. If you want to hear more about that, I will link you to that video here. And with Schmincke in particular, it was my favorite brand. It's just the formulation of their artist grade paint, the Horadam Aquarelle, is my absolute favorite. However, they use ox gall in their formulation, which comes from animals. And so I'm trying to find better or as good vegan versions. Now, their Akademie line, which is what's inside this box, their student line, is vegan, and that's why I picked this up. First of all, because of the tin, and then because I wanted to try their student line, because I've never tried it and I wanted to see how it compared to their artist grade paints, as well as to just other paints that I have in my stash. And I have to say, spoiler, it's not that the paints are bad, not at all, but this is just way overpriced. And I think for what you get, you can find for this price, for the price of this tin, you can get the 24 White Nights set, if I'm not mistaken, and that will give you so much more paint. But obviously that's a really kind of big set. I mean, here you have this little tin, which does have its drawbacks, and we will get to that in a second. Now, as for the paint, it is very creamy, and I love that about the Schmincke paints, but I feel like this might be a bit more creamy than their artist grade, which makes it kind of especially when the pans are so full, it makes it kind of messy to use, and you really have to be careful not to get too much paint on your brushes. I tend to paint with very kind of juicy pigmented brushes, but even for me it was a little bit of a challenge. And I also picked up a few days ago, I picked up actually this set from Van Gogh, which I will have a separate video for, but just in a few words, this is also, it's called their Brights set, and the Schmincke one also has just very bright colors and a black. And this one has more paints, it's like half the price, and I just think it's a much better option. So let's take a look inside, and I'll talk you through my thoughts about this set. I think you can do better. I wouldn't waste my money on this unless you really want this tin. Yeah, let's take a closer look. I'm very sad to say bad things about Schmincke, because I really think their artist grade paint is, if you're a watercolor collector, a fan of watercolors, I highly recommend, and you don't mind using paints that are not vegan, I highly recommend trying out, order a few pans of Schmincke paint to test out. If you like bright colors, try some of their brilliant colors, which are not light fast like all of these type of like fluorescent, but they are gorgeous. Also, their cobalts are beautiful, and it's just the formulation of their pans, which I think it's the same as their tube paint, but they do this whole procedure. They pour it like 3 times in the pans. The pans are really, really beautiful and gorgeous to use. So I do suggest picking up a few. If you want to see a video of my favorite Schmincke colors, then let me know in the comments and I will do my best to film one for you. Also, I have a few videos planned out, some product shares, because I did pick up a few new things. So some new Daniel Smith paints and this beautiful brush that I'm absolutely loving and super happy about. I'll share all that with you. Subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, and I'll just try to stagger those videos so that you'll have something to watch in the next weeks, hopefully also when I'm away on vacation. And yeah, let's get into this little tin.
Okay, I have a lot to say, so hopefully I'll manage to get through it all until the footage of swatching all this ends. This is the packaging that this tin comes in. Now, the drawbacks of this tin, it's a little bit smaller than the regular 12 half pan tin that you're probably familiar with, like, you know, the Prima tins and the ones that other brands have. These have like these unfinished, this tin has these unfinished metal edges that, I don't know, to me it wasn't that bothersome, but yes, it's a bit less elegant design, I would say, and they can be kind of sharp if you're not careful. Now, this tin is just like built a little bit differently, and you can see there's no space between the 2 rows to put another row of paints. So this only fits 12, maybe 14 if you manage to squeeze in 7 half pans at most. So yeah, less versatile, or I mean, it can contain less paint than the regular tins, which I find very, very friendly, user-friendly, because you can fit, you know, every brand, and then you can also extend your range with that middle row. So the tin, while the design is adorable, yeah, it's a bit of a fail for me. Now, let me tell you a little bit about the Akademie line from Schmincke while we are watching the swatching of this. So they say Akademie Aquarelle, which is watercolor in German, contains 24 highly concentrated watercolors, predominantly with 4 and 5 stars lightfastness, which form a didactically and coloristically well-balanced assortment. I tend to agree with that. Best artist pigments and an ideal combination of natural gum arabic as binder guarantee brilliant mixing results, as well as ideal painting properties, even on soft watercolor papers. The painting boxes contain full or half pans in different combinations, 10, 12, and 24 pans. The colors of Akademie can be mixed and combined with the Horadam Aquarelle, their artist grade line, with the aqua bronzers, and all Schmincke aqua mediums. The painting boxes contain full or half pans separately, only in half pans available. So you can't get a tube of their Akademie paint, which to me is kind of a drawback, because usually people go with student grade paint for economical reasons, and tubes are usually the most economical option. You pay less dollar per milliliter, and this is true for pretty much every brand that I know. The tubes are more economical. So that's in general. Let's get into this tin. I think the color selection, you know, if you have to have only 9 colors, I think this is fantastic. For me personally, it works really well, this whole like bright scheme, because there are no earth tones and I feel like I don't need them. There is the black one. So you can, you know, kind of dull and darken your colors. And because you have here a really great selection of primary colors, you have the lemon yellow, the more orangey yellow, red, magenta, ultramarine, cyan, like really, really basic colors. This is super versatile. And if you want to practice color theory, color mixing, this is a really great palette, and it kind of narrows it down to very, very few colors. And you have here a space to add a few more. So I do think the color choices they went for is a really good one because it's extremely versatile and will give you, I would say, you know, close to endless mixing possibilities. And you can see how creamy these colors get. And because they're so full, the pans are so full, it does get to almost like overflow. I did enjoy using them. And I also noticed, you know, coming back to it like the next day, that the colors stayed very, very bright. So all in all, I think this is lovely student grade paint, but this particular tin I don't think is a great value because you only get 9 half pans and this tin that you can't add more than like 3 or 4 paints to it. It's very pretty, so I will enjoy looking at it. I will be using it for sure, but I would probably recommend something else. And if you can afford it, then I would also give a try to their artist grade paint. When it comes to the color in this range, I don't think there's a huge difference between the student grade paint and their artist grade, but obviously in their artist line, they have a huge selection of colors. And they come in small tubes, large tubes, half pan, full pans, all of that. So you can see on the screen how these colors perform, how vibrant they are, how creamy, how well they blend, all that stuff. But I'm trying to sit here and tell you for who this set would work. And I have to say this particular set, I wouldn't suggest to anyone. I would go if you are in Europe and these are readily available to you, or if you're, I don't know, touring Europe and you go into an art store and you want to try some Schmincke paints, I would definitely consider picking up one of their more traditional Akademie palettes to experience it and enjoy it, and then maybe in time add some colors from their artist grade paint. And also, if you're in Europe and you are a vegan watercolor artist, there isn't a ton of affordable options. So there's the Schmincke Akademie, there's Winsor & Newton Cotman, which I prefer the Schmincke ones so much better than the Cotman. And you have Van Gogh, which are also vegan. So this is an option out there. And for that, it's a good one. So our time is running up. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you soon.